1.
Good morning and welcome to this licensing hearing. The first item on the agenda is the election of the chair, and I understand that members would like to elect Councillor Melly to chair the meeting. Is that agreed, members? Thank you very much. I'll pass over now to the chair.
Okay, thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. This hearing is being live webcast and will be available on the council's website to view. So good morning to everyone who's here and watching at home. Agenda item 2 is introductions. So I'm Councillor Melly. I'll be chairing this panel. Also on the panel is Councillor Galvin and Councillor 1. We have several officers here with us. We'll start with Leslie Cook. Could you please introduce yourself?
Good morning, everybody. I'm Leslie Cook. I'm the licensing manager for the council and I will be presenting the report.
Thank you. Sandra Brannigan.
Good morning. My name is Sandra Brannigan and I am the legal officer advising this hearing.
Thank you. There's also Fiona Young from Democratic Services in the background, helping to make sure everything goes smoothly. So who's here for the applicant? Could somebody representing the applicant and anyone else who you've brought with you, could you please introduce yourself?
Good morning. I'm Hardish Purewal and I'm the licensing manager for Tesco. And with me, I have Emma. Emma, do you want to just say hello?
Good morning. I'm Emma. I'm the store manager of Tesco Express Gillygate.
All right. Thank you very much, both of you, and welcome. I think that's all the introductions. So agenda item 3 is declarations of interest. Does anybody on the hearing panel have any interests to declare? No? Excellent. Okay. Exclusions of press and public. I would like, we haven't got any kind of sensitive or confidential information or evidence presented as part of this hearing. So I'd like to propose that press and public be excluded during the subcommittee's deliberations after the hearing, during our decision making, on the grounds that the public interest in excluding the public outweighs the public interest in that part of the meeting taking place in public under Regulation 14 of the Licensing Act 2003. Is that resolved? Great, thank you very much. So agenda item 5 is minutes. We have minutes from a licensing hearing on the 23rd of May. I have one amendment to propose to those minutes, please. Reason number 7 is given that the subcommittee noted that there was no evidence. I'd like to change that to insufficient evidence, please. Is everyone on the panel happy to approve that change and the minutes subject to that change? Yeah, is that resolved? Councillor Galvin? Oh, sorry, you're muted.
Yeah, I'm happy about that, Chair.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, so agenda item 6, determination of an application by Tesco stores for a premise license on Gillygate. Everybody should have received a copy of the procedure last week by email. Has everybody received that? Does everybody understand that? Anybody have any questions? Hardish Purewal, Emma Martin, are you happy with that?
Yes, fine, thank you, okay. Chair.
I'd just like to propose one slight change to the procedure. In the procedure, it says that after the deliberations and after decisions made, the panel will come back to the public meeting to let everyone know the decision. I would like to propose that we don't do that today. We'll make the decision and then you'll be informed in writing. It just saves everyone having to hang around on Zoom in front of a screen, not knowing when we're going to come back. Is everyone else on the panel content with that? Okay, great, thank you. So, Leslie Cook, could you please present the report?
Thank you, Chair. So this is an application for the grant of a premise licence for a Tesco store at 45 to 49 Gillygate, York. Members will maybe be aware that this premises used to be the Whackers Fish and Chip restaurant. The licensable activities applied for are, and I must apologise because my colleague who put the report together made a couple of errors with regards to the licensable activities. So the licensable activities applied for are late night refreshment indoors from Monday to Sunday from 11 p.m. until midnight. The supply of alcohol is actually off the premises, again, Monday to Sunday from 6 a.m. until midnight, with opening hours Monday to Sunday 6 a.m. until midnight. A full copy of the applications and plan can be found at Annex 1 of the report. The premises described within the application as a retail premises selling a range of goods and services which include alcohol for consumption off the premises. This premises does actually currently hold a premises licence, but that was for the sale of alcohol on the premises with the restriction that that was ancillary to a meal. This licence was suspended in March of this year due to the fact that the licence holder had not been paying the required annual fee. The applicant in this case has decided that they do not want to transfer the current licence. As part of the application, the operating schedule submitted by the applicant shows how the licensing objectives would be met can be found at paragraphs 11 to 15 of the report on pages 16 and 17. I can confirm that this premises is not located within the community of impact assessment area and that the consultation process was carried out correctly. North Yorkshire Police has mediated with the applicant and agreed additional conditions which will form part of the which now form part of the operating schedule, which will be placed on the licence if granted. The agreed conditions can be found at Annex 2. Two relevant representations has been received from other parties. A list of the representatives can be found at Annex 3. They believe that the licensing objectives, the prevention of crime and disorder and public nuisance would be undermined by granting this application in the terms applied for. Their reps can be found at Annex 4, pages 51 to 54 of the report. A map showing the general area around the premises can be found at Annex 5. The committee has the following options when making your decision. Option 1, grant the licence in the terms applied for. Option 2, grant the licence with modified additional conditions imposed by the licensing committee. Option 3, grant the licence to exclude any of the licensable activities to which the application relates and modify or add conditions accordingly. Option 4, you can reject the application. That's a brief overview of the report, Chair.
Thank you very much. Does anyone who is here on behalf of the applicant have any questions for the licensing manager?
No, I don't. Thank you.
Emma?
No, thank you.
Okay. Does anybody on the panel have any questions for the licensing manager?
No.
Okay. So the applicant now has up to 15 minutes for you and any witnesses or anyone else here with you to make your case. So please go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you. Good morning. Thank you for hearing this application this morning. It's for a new store, new premises that we're looking to open in October this year. If I start off by just telling you a little bit about Tesco, we have about 2,800 shops across the UK, and we employ about 300,000 colleagues across the business. We've got two formats, our large format and our convenience format. This is going to be a part of our convenience format, so it's an express, and it's very much about top-up shops. Most of the majority of products are linked, so it's not an off sales in the sense that we only sell alcohol. Alcohol's only a very small part of the express range. There's usually about 5,000 lines and a very targeted range to the area. And like I said, alcohol is a very small but important part of the business. We already have 3 expresses in the city, and Emma is the store manager of Gillygate, and we've got 8 shops in the York area. Emma's got a wealth of experience, and she's here to kind of answer any questions that the committee may have. She's been with Tesco for 15 years and a store manager for 6 years, and the majority of that time she spent in the city of York, so has a really good understanding of the city. This store we're looking at, like I said, opening in October. We should have about 20 colleagues, 3 shift managers, as well as a store manager, with a mixture of full-time and part-time people. There will be roles for people in the community, and they'll be taken from the local community. So there will be a mixture of experienced people, colleagues who want to move across because they live closer to this store, as well as roles for new people as well. And we'll look at starting the recruitment process about 8 weeks before we start the store opens. This will be there'll be a very carefully selected lines in this store, and we will and we don't sell any miniatures apart from those that happen to be in gift packs for Mother's Day or Father's Day, or as such. Just kind of moving on to like the good neighbour stuff, or the good neighbour policies that we have. We take great pride in being a good neighbour in the community, and you may be aware of things that we've done locally. We've awarded 94 different groups at over £172,000, and those groups include the Umbrella Project, Bishop Thorpe and Drink Houses Football Club, the RSPCA in York, Snappy Club, the Town Hall Community Centre, York York Hospital Radio, and the Tea and Coffee Club, as well as kind of a number of other local organisations. We're already a part of, and Emma's a part of already, the local pub watch scheme that takes place, which she sees a lot of the local community officers, as well as Jackie Booth, the licensing officer. All of the city centre stores attend those meetings, and there was talk about making it all a little bit more retail specific, and maybe having a retail watch scheme as well. And again, we'll be happy to kind of take part in anything that's going on locally. If any issues do arise, then we work very closely with the local community to kind of put those issues right. On a national level, we've got a very good relationship with the statutory authorities, and I've worked with Jackie Booth in the past if any issues arise, or when it comes to any other new stores. I chair a retail alcohol standards group as well, which is a part of where we look at best practice across the industry. So all of the retailers are part of that, and we encourage small independent shops to be a part of that through the Association of Convenience Stores. So any policies or any best practices that we propose are suitable for smaller independent shops as well. As a part of that, we offer free guidance and free posters to smaller shops so that they can improve their standards. We're also part of community alcohol partnerships, which is if there's a known underage drinking issue in an area, then we work with local partners. And we were involved in the York Cap in April last year, which was ran by David McLean. And we also work with Portman Group and Drink Aware, as well as the Home Office and the Department of Health. We also have a primary authority relationship, and they endorse all of our processes and practices when it comes to how it comes to age-restricted product. Just talking very quickly about our training, we have our training endorsed by the BII, which is what good looks like. All training is documented, as you would expect, and has an audit compliance. We train when somebody first joins Tesco, and then we train in terms of how they operate a checkout and what to do when you scan alcohol. we also have training in beers, wines and spirits, as well as security. Our refresher training on age-restricted sales is twice a year, and we also have security training in what colleagues need to look out for if somebody's intent on stealing from our store rather than paying for goods. We also have a very strong Think 25 policy. This is very much embedded in the industry as well as Tesco. We started with Think 21. We were one of the first retailers to have Think 21, which started in 2004 and then moved to Think 25 across the business. And that's about, if somebody looks under 25, then we will ask them for ID. And if they can't provide any ID, then we wouldn't allow the sale of alcohol to go through. We also train our teams on how to spot somebody that's drunk. So then and any sales will be refused to somebody that's drunk. Our team also do some conflict training in terms of how to manage someone that's drunk, because they may be behaving a little bit differently. We also train on proxy sales and what to look out for. So if somebody older is trying to buy alcohol for somebody younger, what to look out for, especially when large groups come into the store, then everybody in that group will get ID'd. Our training also covers responsible retailing, in which we talk to our colleagues about the licensing objectives. But I guess the most important thing that we do is a policy called You Say No, We Say No. So if one of our colleagues on a checkout has made a decision not to sell alcohol to somebody, a manager will not come over and overrule that decision. It might mean that somebody might need some additional training if we feel like maybe a wrong decision's been made, but we won't undermine our colleague by overruling that decision. We also have a checkout prompt. So when alcohol is scanned through a checkout, the till freezes and an action is required. On that screen, it says Think 25. There's also then a date of birth. So when our colleagues check ID, they've got something to check it against. And then there's an action they must take. So they have to then press yes or no, whether that customer is over 18 and been able to prove it. We also have what we call a team 5. So if I wanted to send a message to all of our colleagues across the business in our stores, I would put a message in a team 5, and that would be cascaded down to our colleagues. So an example would be if A-level results are coming out or GCSE results are coming out, and there might be more children around wanting to celebrate, we would put that message in, or University Freshers Week, anything like that. That's an opportunity just to remind our cashiers to follow Think 25. In terms of security, we've got CCTV. We will have the most up-to-date CCTV in this store, and that's also managed by a central hub as well. So although recordings can be taken in store, but also we have a central hub that's kind of looking at what's going on in the store too. The store will have panic alarms. We tag high value items, and we have a body cam that's worn in store as well as headsets, so teams can communicate quite quickly. There's also a lot central support for the stores as well. So we've got a licensing team, a compliance team. We do serve legal audits, which this shop will be tested 4 times a year to make sure it's following Think 25 by an external audit company. We've and I've already spoken about our primary authority relationship. So anything new, or that we go and speak to our primary authority if we're thinking about doing anything new. Our promotions are all set nationally, so the store won't be doing any local promotions whatsoever. And the pricing for an express is usually slightly different to pricing in a larger store because of the additional cost of running an express. A lot of the time in newspapers you will see, or where there's adverts, you'll see that it says will exclude an express. If there's any questions about the late night refreshment, we're not looking at selling hot food. We would need this for a Costa machine, because the payment's being taken at the checkout rather than, it's not seen as a vending machine. If payment was made in the machine, we wouldn't need this, but because payment's taken to a checkout, that's what we need it for, the Costa Costa machine. In terms of the representations that have come in, we would be happy to work with any local community organisation, so that if any issues come up, we will look to nip them in the bud. What we don't want is something to fester and turn into a much bigger issue if it's something that we can deal with quite quickly. So there's been talk of kind of street drinking or the hostels close by. We already work with the police or the rangers in the city, and Emma's already, if a ranger says please don't sell alcohol to a particular person, we won't do that. So we'll work with any local enforcement authorities around, if so we just won't sell alcohol to somebody that's going on to cause antisocial behaviour. And the police are already kind of working on the multi-agency problem-solving plan that they have in this area. So we will fit into that, and we'll work with the police in any capacity that's kind of required. In terms of like your statement of licensing policy, you kind of reiterate in there that generally shops and supermarkets will be permitted to sell alcohol off the premises during any trading hours, and that just reiterates what's in the section 182 guidance. So there's not a presumption kind of in the Act to restrict unless there's good reason or evidence, and we should be granted our opening hours unless there's a reason for not doing so. So I guess just in very quick summary, there's no evidence to suggest that the hours should be reduced. The police have put forward that the conditions that they want to see on the licence, and we're kind of happy to agree those. And we'll work ongoing as we have done historically with the police should any new issues come up. And I guess from the reps, I know there's been talk about other stores and what time they close in the area, but each premises should be granted on its own merits, and I'm sure you're aware that what's going on with other businesses shouldn't impact what our application. And I guess I will just, I hope I've stuck within my 15 minutes. I'm sorry if
you've got 30 seconds left.
Okay,
you've done fine. Yep.
Okay, well that's good. I have whizzed through that, so I'm happy for myself or Emma to take any questions that the committee may, or that you may have. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yes, does anybody on the panel, Councillor Galvin, Councillor Bond, do you have any questions for the applicant? No? Okay. I did have a question about the proximity to Changing Lives and ArcLive, but you've addressed that, so thank you very much. My other question was about, I was just wondering if you were aware about a process that's currently underway into a public space protection order that would include Gillygate, which directly relates to drink-related antisocial behaviour. Are you aware of that, and have you thought about how that might affect your operating?
No, I wasn't aware that was going in, but actually we operate a lot of premises in areas like this, so happy to kind of work with the police to whatever's required.
Thank you. Any other questions at all from the panel? No? Okay. Oh, okay. We'll jump straight to applicant sums up then. You've got 5 minutes if there's anything else you'd like to sum up or add. You don't have to take full 5 minutes if you feel you've said everything.
Yeah, no,
okay.
Absolutely not. I think I gave quite a detailed view of our operation, but I hope I was able to demonstrate to you that we're an excellent operator. We've got a great track record of partnership working, And we've got policies and procedures already in place that will uphold the licensing objectives. And again, I would just say that there's no evidence that suggests that we shouldn't be granted the hours that we've applied for. And I guess I'm going to kind of leave it there. So if that's okay.
Thank you. I think just a final question from me then about conditions. You've said in your application that you'll have CCTV and you'll retain the footage for 31 days. If we were to grant the licence, would you be happy for that to be added as a condition, and that also footage must be made available to responsible authorities on request?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, thank you. Any other final points of clarification or anything from the panel? No? Okay, well, in that case, thank you very much for your time this morning. We'll all leave now. We'll go into private deliberations and we'll let you know the decision in writing within 5 working days. Thank you very much.
Thank you.